Since the election of Donald Trump, there has been an increased activity among ICE officials. One tactic that they have really ramped up is going to courthouses and waiting outside to essentially go after people that they believe are undocumented immigrants. Now, this has a number of negative implications, including messing with our justice system and making people feel unsafe or uncomfortable going to the courts when there's an issue. Now, there's also the issue of racial profiling, which was very evident in a story that recently broke featuring ICE officials who approached the wrong Latino man that they thought was an undocumented immigrant. Now, the video that we're about to show you was shot at the Washington County Courthouse in Oregon. It is a disturbing video, but it gives you a sense of what people, American citizens, are currently going through in this country. Take a look.
Do you have a warrant? Are you with ICE? Do you have a warrant for arrest? Do you have any identification? Do you have any identification that you can show them?
So this. Excuse me, ma'am. Please step back.
Picture right here. Do you have any identification that you were showing them?
Bitch, please. Bitch, please. That is not my husband.
Do you have no? Do you have?
You are not. You are not.
Who are you? Who are you?
You are not part of the court. We do not know you. Please back away from my husband. Please back away from our car before we call the cops.
Yeah.
Before we call the cops.
Just give me my.
No, you don't need to show anything to this bitch.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 agents.
These random
we have
people
3
are
cars.
They're asking my husband for his identification. We have no idea who any of these people are. We literally just walked out of the courtroom and we're being approached right now. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
This is absolutely ridiculous. We don't know any of these people.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here, you son of a bitch.
This woman asked my husband what his first and last name was, asked him for his ID, showed a mugshot to him, and told him that was him. It was not even the same picture. Who the hell is she? And then we came out of the courtroom and she followed us.
Okay, so the man that they approached is Isidro Andrade-Tafolla, and he is a US citizen. He was not the person that they were looking for. They just approached a guy that they thought looked like the person they were looking for. He did refuse to give the agents his ID, but he did tell them his name. They then took the photo out of this man, showed it to him, and then just refused to believe him when he said, "That's not me, you have the wrong person." This is madness. And by the way, I didn't realize that ICE officials approach you in plain clothes. If that woman in jeans and a green hoodie approached me and my husband asking for identification, I wouldn't take her seriously. I'd be like, I don't know who you are, pause, okay?
Yeah, so there's 2 different issues here. So the ACLU says this is a clear case of racial profiling. I think that depends on the context. So let me explain. If they thought that that guy with the mugshot that they're looking for was in court that day for some reason, then you could make an approach to a person who looks like him and figure out if it's him or not. If they're stalking this courthouse looking for Latinos that are coming out of it, then that's racial profiling and it's crazy. And they assured us, no, this is only for the bad hombres and etc. But when you go around asking random Latinos for their papers, no, that's Gestapo-like stuff. So I would just need more information to figure out which one is which here. And but ICE is not getting back to anybody, so we don't know that there was someone in that courthouse that matches that same exact description.
What I am clear on is that regardless of your immigration status, even if you are in the country and you are undocumented, you are protected by the US Constitution. You have constitutional rights. That is not something that is my opinion. That is based on precedent set by numerous Supreme Court rulings, okay? So undocumented immigrants have constitutional rights. If you start harassing Latinos as they're walking out of courtrooms, think about what you do to the justice system and think about what you do to the rights of not just undocumented immigrants, but American citizens. You don't want to instill fear in people to the point where they feel uncomfortable going to a courthouse or feel uncomfortable reporting to the authorities if there has been a crime, if they've been the victim of a crime. There's been numerous cases, countless cases of undocumented women who were either abused, beaten up, raped, and they feel like they can't go to the cops because they worry that they're gonna be the ones punished as a result of this. There are protections for those women, by the way. And so if there's now a number of stories making headlines featuring these ICE officials harassing people as they're coming out of courtrooms, that's a huge problem. I think that should be banned, okay?
So that leads me to the second issue at hand, and this one's much clearer. And cops do this from time to time. I literally had this happen to me. It was a long time ago, but sometimes cops will be undercover. That's normal. And if you're infiltrating a gang or whatever, you're going to be undercover. We get that. But when you go to detain someone, you can't just assume that they'll assume you're a cop.
That's right.
How do we know you're a cop? And cops get really offended when you ask them for ID. That's what happened to me. And they did a false arrest on me, which they then had to withdraw, okay? And it's not illegal to ask for your ID. In fact, it's the most legal thing I could do because otherwise people are gonna get kidnapped when random people come and pretend to be police officers and take them off the streets. But they feel like in this case, and it's not cops, it's ICE, but that they're above the law. Well, that's the kind of lawlessness that's the trouble at hand. So if people have constitutional rights and American citizens and undocumented immigrants definitely do, according to the Supreme Court, well, then you should approach them in a legal way. So if you're looking for a guy, go up in your, or even if you're in undercover for whatever reason, and I don't know the particulars of that case of the guy they were looking for, but when you go up to the guy to detain him, you gotta show him a badge. You gotta, so that they know you're cops, because I don't know if you, first of all, even if he is guilty, that's the right way to do it, that's the legal way to do it. And second of all, you don't always get the right guy, so you might be scaring the hell out of an average citizen. And they don't know if they're about to get put into a van. And if it was the right guy, why are you guys undercover? Why can't you just be ICE and say, hey, I got the bad guy and I'm gonna put him and I'm gonna detain him? Like, it makes it look like it's go time and you're gonna throw him in the back of a van if it turns out you did get the right guy. Right. And that's not the right procedure either.
Right, I mean, I just think about yourself in that position where you're approached by those very people that approach this American citizen, okay? Would you, I think that the situation would probably even escalate if I were involved, because I'd be like, who's this random woman like bothering me? Like, who are you? You're asking me for ID, I don't know who you are, and I'd get angry. And the fact that they kind of kept things under control is pretty miraculous because, again, they refused to answer any questions and they kept insisting that this guy was someone that he wasn't.
By the way, if you missed it, the guy in the ICE vest that showed up, he was the presumably the lead agent, and he said, that's not him, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, and look, if you're the law, you don't have to do things in this weird surreptitious way, and you don't have to throw people in vans, or you don't have to run. If it's just a simple matter of identifying yourself, are you this person? Yes, then you're under arrest. No, then you're not. Sorry to detain you for a minute while we found out. People aren't gonna freak out if you come up to him and go, hey, here's a guy who looks like you, is that you? Oh, it's not you, okay.
Yeah.
But when you go up to him like a rando, like, give me your ID, and then you're like, come out of a freaking vehicle that was waiting for them, and they're like, what is going on?
Right, exactly.
This is what we're worried about, that all of a sudden it appears like you're doing racial profiling of random people, and you've got this feeling of lawlessness at ICE, because they've done this in the past. We told you about somebody gave a political speech about being undocumented. ICE pulls up after the speech, grabs her, and then whisks her away. What do we have? Like, we're gonna start putting hoods over people's heads, and this is not how.
Don't give them ideas.
I know, right? This is not how a legal society ruled by law should operate. Help us build independent media together. TYTnetwork.com/join.